News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Montana Senator Steve Daines in Missoula yesterday talking about fire danger. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Thursday, July 2nd, 2015. Sky is mostly clear. Again, it's hazy out there, and we have a very warm 69 degrees. It's almost 70 to start the day. Wow. Our newscast this morning is sponsored by Dr. Troy Doxey and the friendly team at Chiropractic Works, where they're dedicated to your chiropractic solutions. The number to call for your appointment, 728-0222. This morning's top story, Montana Senator Steve Daines toured the Frenchtown Face Timber Project yesterday and later spoke with area forest stakeholders about the future of federal lands access and the historically extreme fire danger evident all over Montana.
I think we all would agree, in talking to folks who've been watching a long time, we may be heading into one of the more challenging fire seasons we've had that could rise to being historic. Conditions that look somewhat like we saw even in 88, 2000. 2006 in terms of temperatures, precipitation.
While visiting the Boone and Crockett Club headquarters, Daines said a new approach to major wildfires could make a difference in how fighting fires are funded.
We could start thinking more in terms of wildfires being a natural disaster instead of just one more line item in Tim's budget, where 1% of the wildfires in our country eat up 30% of our budget. Why don't we view those as natural disasters like a tornado and a hurricane?
Earlier in the day, Daines was the keynote speaker at a human trafficking awareness event at the Hilton Garden Inn. In a related story, Stage 1 fire restrictions will go into effect at 12:01 a.m. tomorrow, that's Friday, across west central Montana. This from the Northern Rockies Coordination Group. From Jordan Copeland, who's the information specialist. Jurisdictions will include the Bitterroot National Forest, Lolo National Forest, Flathead Indian Reservation, the Lee Metcalf Refuge and National Bison Range, the Missoula Field Office, BLM, Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, Regions 1 and 2, Mineral Missoula, Ravalli, Sanders, and Lake Counties, the City of Missoula, and portions of Granite County have not implemented restrictions at this time, as well as portions of Powell County. Stage 1 fire restrictions apply to campfires and smoking. This season, wildland fire agencies have responded to well over 60 human-caused fires in the area, ranging from unattended campfires to tow chains dragging along the highway, lawnmowers, and welding equipment. A Helena judge says a state law cutting a teacher's inflationary pension increases is unconstitutional. District Judge Mike Menahan ruled on Tuesday that the legislature's cost-saving measure passed in 2013 violated provisions in the state and U.S. constitutions that prohibit the impairment of contract obligations. The judge ordered a permanent block to that section of the law. 58-year-old Dennis Wilson was shot and killed on Friday, June 5th, at a residence in East Missoula. Now, Missoula County Sheriff's Office investigators are asking for a witness to come forward with information he may have in the case. Public Information Officer Brenda Bassett said the witness was one of the customers that stopped by a yard sale that day, but only have a sketchy description.
The guy, we don't have many details on his description, only that he's a tall white male who was driving a white Mercedes sedan. He stopped at the yard sale, we think around 12 o'clock noon on June 5th, and purchased a roll of landscaping fabric.
Bassett provides the contact information for anyone with details.
So we're just asking anyone that has information to contact our office at 258-4810 and ask for Detective Gunter or Detective Cochran.
Bassett said detectives have not yet released information on whether Wilson's shooting death was accidental or deliberate, and that investigation continues. Montana's new Republican Party chairman is making a show of party unity by appointing the incumbent he ousted and another candidate for the top spot to leadership positions. Representative Jeff Esmond of Billings was elected chairman at the party's annual convention last week, defeating incumbent Will Deshaw of Missoula and former Madison County Commissioner Dan Happel. Esmond announced yesterday that Happel will be the party's finance chairman and Deshaw will be the new Republican Speakers Committee chairman. The Montana Health Co-op advertises on its website that, quote, we spend as little as possible on overhead so we can keep our premiums low, end quote. However, the six-figure salary of the nonprofit CEO has many wondering if the co-op is really being honest about its claims. Montana Health Co-op Director of Marketing Karen Early said the co-op is indeed fighting to keep costs low.
Well, our total administrative costs, which include all of our employees and our offices and the very limited amount of advertising that we do, is less than 8% of the money that we take in. So for every dollar that we take in, about 8 cents is spent on that kind of administrative overhead, including the salaries of everyone at the co-op.
Montana Health Co-op CEO Jerry Dworak reportedly made $306,000 in 2013, but Early says his pay has decreased since then.
Mr. Dworak's salary was $275,000. His salary's actually gone down. As you know, we've revised our budgets and done everything we can to keep our premiums as low as possible. Our compensation committee does a comparison of our size company and the compensation for our CEO to other similar-sized insurance companies, and we're very much on the low end for how much we pay our CEO.
The pay of the health co-op CEOs across the country has come under scrutiny in numerous articles. According to Montana Department of Labor and Industry senior economist Barbara Wagner, the average CEO pay for nonprofit and for-profit companies in Montana is $115,000. Well, it's more than just barbecues and fireworks to help bring in the 4th of July for some in western Montana. Even nationwide, the 8th annual Wild West Shootout at Big Sky Kartway begins today in Missoula and is bringing in competition as far away as North Carolina. Promoter Sean Wells explains.
Racers from all over the United States already have a couple of teams from Texas, several teams from California in the pits right now. Over the weekend, we'll have 4 classes, upwards of 140 race cars. The open class paying $2,500 to win, and probably total purse is going to get close to $10,000.
The shootout brings more than racers from out of state. It brings spectators and tourists.
I'm guessing there's got to be 60 to 80 race cars from out of state that show up here. We've possibly got one factory team coming from North Carolina. We got 2 factory teams coming out of California. Probably one of the top 3 kart races in the country. So we race on a 7th-mile racetrack. Straightaways are basically 140 feet long, and we're hitting speeds of 70 miles an hour and going into the corner slinging mud.
You can catch races at Big Sky Kartway behind Maralt's Travel Plaza or stream the races live at fast4media.org. And finally, a Montana man has applied for a marriage license so he can legally wed his second wife. Nathan Collier of Billings said yesterday that last week's U.S. Supreme Court decision legalizing homosexual marriage inspired him to try to force the acceptance of polygamous marriages. He says he'll sue the state if his application is rejected. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Plenty of sunshine with our highs topping out in the low 90s. Winds will be breezy at around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, lows in the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.